Gaming obviously first seed last year. They're also starting into this season as the first seed, and
I don't think SK Gaming will underestimate anyone in which they play. They are so locked in, and
we already talked a little bit about what could be picked up. Now we let the pros do their job. The bans are already in for SK Gaming. Sandy, Ellie and Ross have been banned out. For FACM and Spike, Pierce and Ems banned out. Mortis picked up. That's the other way around than what you told me, Trev.
Yeah, but when you look at Ope on that Brawler, I don't think that's a surprise to see him pick it up nice and early on, to be honest with you. He absolutely runs rampant on that Brawler, and you were talking about it with Shelly as well. There's just a few Brawlers that he's so comfortable on, and it's an absolute pleasure to watch him play them, and Mortis is definitely one of those.
yeah, it's kind of wild that we are now a place where Mortis is this strong. It's worth picking up first, regardless as to all the hard counters that could follow. Because, like you mentioned, Shelly is still open here. Cordelis potentially still available. CMM going for the healing idea, and Pam, to be fair, is pretty tanky. That healing station can also apply damage, and therefore, if you are trying to lurk and creep up with the Mortis, then can be seen in advance. I don't mind it. It's not the worst of gem carriers. Pam has been making a bit of a revival towards the end of last year.
Pam definitely a EMEA favorite on Hard Rock Mine. I see Rico still open. Definitely one of the best lanes for me, at least. And then on the other side, Crow would be what I picked up for mid here. Very good against any heals, and he's such a good gem carrier because he can always jump out of harm's way, which he might have to do. Shade is coming in for FACMM. Very strong brawler in lane as well, and probably better than the Rico, not gonna lie. You can just go through walls and hit hard. The Rico's not gonna have a fun time there.
Yeah, I like the Shade a lot. The aggression that you can really bring in that Brawler is very, very solid, and shouldn't really struggle to get supers when he's faced off against a Mortis or something more aggressive that SK Gaming might bring in. We've seen, especially in East Asia, a lot of these compositions where they just double down on aggression, especially on this map in Hard Rock Mine. Have a gem carrier that's going to be pretty sturdy, which was Charlie for the majority of yesterday, and then have two really aggressive brawlers just run it down. The Shelly's going to come in now, and Ope's got his pick of the lot here. Does he play Mortis? Does he play Shelly? He's just so incredible on both.
Well, this is the problem that I felt like CMM had a chance to hard counter the Mortis with a Shelly, and if you leave that to SK Gaming, of course they're going to kind of pick it up and take away what was the best counter to that Brawler, and in the best hands, I imagine, of OPE, but they are so diverse in SK Gaming. That's the thing, especially when we see roster changes. We were saying, on the way to the venue, like that Drage is a prime example of someone who was really drastically changed his Brawler caliber on Navi. But for SK Gaming now, the Gus, that is a really lovely mid-gem carrier and can really pack a punch.
Good old Gus on Hard Rock Mine, that's something we see quite often. Can also, of course, shield the Mortis, support him a little bit more. Now we need something on the side of FACMM to address the Shelly. Something to deal with her could be Rico. Now I wonder how well Rico will do into the Mortis. I would probably side with SK Gaming's comp here. FACMM has a well-rounded comp, a lot of tankiness in mid, so at least the Pam is going to survive one or two Mortis attacks.
Yeah, I like it a lot, to be honest. I like both of these compositions. I think what you said, Ark, about the ability of them maybe taking the Shelly and having that ability to counter out the Mortis might have been the play, but I do like that Gus a lot. We touched on it yesterday. It didn't really get picked up as a mid too much. It was kind of consistently Charlie on this map, played as one of the mids, and I was like, we saw it pop up on one of the knockout maps. I was like, where has Gus been today? But it seems that you're picking up early on, bit of a region favourite.
Well, it is going to be OP on the Mortis. Now on the Shelly. Already, it is the Rico that comes out on top. On that left-hand side is Dekai. Now will heal up and gradually push his way forwards. Leaving that left-hand side now. The choice between OP is to whether he goes in the aggressive or chooses to flank his way around. Meanwhile, now he's trying to get into that spot top right and lock himself in.
Yeah, great positioning for Naui at the moment. Ope trying to establish himself behind this unbreakable wall. Dash there as well from Naui. Not even running the clay pigeon, just running it down into the face of his opposition. And although Kello does have quite a few gems, I don't know where they've really come from. It seems like SK have been in a pretty good spot so far.
Yeah, OP falls again on that left-hand side. Ramika going to town as well, straight down the mid. 2 gems in his pockets, and OP with a lovely gadget through the wall will leave those gems be dropped and available for SK Gaming to go back to the pocket of Ryoshi.
Well, a hypercharge available from the Rico as well, so can defend from afar. Here it is now on the Pam station as well. Don't think he's going to get much back from that super, and Ope will pick up Remika up top as well. There's the Strap Sucker once more, and This Pam healing station doing some good work, but Yoshi finds the angle on it and brings it down. Still a gem lead at the moment for FaCMM, but with this hypercharge coming in, might be an issue. Super forced out by the Shelly just to keep them both alive.
Ramika low, pinch now between Naui and Yoshi and Falls. That should allow Yoshi to get back into mid, but he's low, has got a shield in hand if he has to pop it, and a hypercharge potentially here too. FaCMM are in the lead by 3 gems, so SK Gaming need to go a little bit stronger and more on the aggressive. Takai is doing a great job for CMM on this left-hand side. Naui on the right, battling with Ramika as well. Ramika's just surviving, gets the kill as well on 197 HP.
Yeah, it might have been a little bit of a waste of super in some people's opinions, but I think he should have just thrown that second Shelly super out right there, deal with him. And down goes the gem carrier here as they have 9 over their head. I think there's about 8 laying on the floor there, so they just need one more to kick the countdown off, and there it is. Still a Pam healing station available as well as the Shade super might be able to stop this push, and the hypercharge there as well for the healing.
Very tense for SK Gaming now. They can potentially get this gem from the mid, but Yoshi is in a real rock and a hard place. Now he's going to the gems. Oh, Takai comes in yet again. CMM get the steal. 20 gems in the pocket, and the first game goes their way.
Yeah, really sketchy all round from SK Gaming there. They seem to be okay off the start, had some good positioning here and there, but it's just relentless shade pushes and non-stop Rico shots coming from the left-hand side, because it seemed like Ope was pretty shut down by the Rico there, so the mid wasn't really getting too much control from Ope on the left-hand side. Surprised they didn't maybe even try and switch, get some of the walls broken down, try something different, because although they had a good few gems throughout, never really seemed like they were in control of the game towards the end.
Nervous smiles for me towards the end of that player cam for CMM. Maybe they can't believe their luck, but for me, Takai is still so good in this left-hand side lane, so confident and consistent in his approach. And SK Gaming are floundering somewhat, just not really sure how to break this. Good taps from Yoshi, but 2 that didn't follow up could prove costly. A nice combo spinner gadget there from OP will seal it. They've got to focus their attention on Takai because he is so dangerous.
Yeah, well, OP doing a bit more this time, focusing down on the Shade rather than the Rico, and bit of a lockdown of this left-hand side here as they've got the Pam healing station along with that Rico super just sat there. Remika managed to cycle out his super as well, and Ope just dashes forward for the gem to extend it to 6, but still need a bit more as this is very capable of a turnaround for the side of CMM.
Ramika, oh, lovely swipe into follow-up there as well from Kello. That will seal OP and leave again. All 3 members of CMM in this middle of the map. SK Gaming are going to struggle to push in, especially with a Shade hypercharge and 3 consecutive swipes onto Naui. Yoshi as well has to pop the shield just to stay in the question. Finally gets the kill, but CMM are so aggressive in their approach.
Yeah, burned a lot of the clock there and picked up some gems along the way, so although he didn't manage to get the gem carrier down, it kind of allowed them to get back into the game. And don't forget, he cycled this super as well, but with Naui over this left-hand side and a super of his own, going to make it very difficult for him, but he just swoops into that unbreakable wall and goes maybe a little over-aggressive there as well, especially with the Shelly in their backlines. SK going to take the lead for the first time here.
OP trying to get some value from this hypercharge, but shut down yet again by Kello, who had a hypercharge of his own. Those shields coming off the back of that Pam healing station are going to be massive. 8 gems for SK Gaming and 8 for CMM now. And it's going to be a battle for this mid as Takai pops his hypercharge. Yoshi and protective shielding, and emergency shield still goes down. It's just OPE, and with such little HP, has nothing to say. And CMM go back to spawn with all the gems.
I mean, 10 seconds, what chance do they have here? It was a brilliant takedowns from CMM at the perfect time, and I don't think they've got the time here to be able to do it. Mortis coming in, healing station down, now we're on the right side with the super. OP trying to get the job done, but he's cut short by the clock. CMM gonna take this first set, and we're carrying it on from the quarterfinals yesterday. Possibilities of big upsets.
And in the first set of 2026, 75% of this roster have got more assists than they claimed the entirety of Bubbly Finals last year. It's as simple as that. I think SK Gaming just underestimated them a little bit here and just had nothing to really go with. They were just all over the place, not really working as a squad.
Super nice gameplay all around. Remika doing some great job of staying aggressive here, cycling supers, getting back into the mix over and over again. Didn't manage to get the kills, but during that kind of onslaught that he was going for, his teammates just got gem after gem in the mid. Lovely stuff from Takai here, cycles the super and managed to get the kills, and he is dominating all the way through. Ope gets the refrag, but just wasn't enough in the end. Ope doing his job. Naui with only 1 kill there on the Shelly as well. Decent amount of DPS, so surprised to not see him get more, but he just didn't have a lane where he was succeeding.
I love the stats on the side of CMM, just very balanced between all 3 players. I was surprised to not see OP on the Shelly, but this is what I'm kind of reserving myself when it comes to SK Gaming and some of the squads this year coming in, because we need to see how they fare when it comes to bringing players in. Now he's got the experience, no doubt about it, and maybe that was just a misdraft first set, underestimating how the draft was going to go. But this next set will really say quite a big story, because if CMM get another set here, it would be absolutely crazy to me. And SK Gaming, who were so consistent in 2025, may have met their match in the first round of the monthly final in February.
Absolutely. I mean, it wasn't even like the last game was a turnaround. They dominated both of the games, so intrigued to see if they're going to be able to carry that on here. Ban-wise, looking at the Willow, the Ems, and the Spike on the left-hand side for SK Gaming. They're going to take the Hank as their first pick, but overall first pick for CMM was the Shade yet again, and who can fault them for that after how well they played it in the last? The Jackie, the Frank, and the Cordelius were CMM's bans, but that Hank into Shade is going to be great for SK.
Yeah, I like it. I like it from SK. Mortis is open, but again, that Shade deflates somewhat what SK were thinking, because when you're playing Shade, you can just go into a wall. There's nothing that Mortis can really do against that kind of brawler, unless they haven't got the utility to be able to defend themselves. Poker going to come in, Poker and Hank. When Frank is banned, it makes a lot of sense when you break it all down. Still, Buffy Brawler's going to be available here, but the big ones, it seems so far on EMEA, getting shut down early, and I quite like that. The Spike, the Ems, and the Frank, it does bring things back into somewhat of an order. Pierce available here, though, potentially Mina also here. Could be a very, very good shout for CMM.
Yeah, going to need some big DPS here against the healing and the tank that SK Gaming have got. Shade's not really going to bring a lot to the table unless he gets away from that Hank who's just going to be following in the entire game. Gale going to be picked up then for CMM. Just trying to halt what SK Gaming are going to be bringing to the table. A hypercharge pretty decently, have those 3 knockbacks instead of 1. It's not a brawler we see often. It's just certain circumstances it seems to work.
Well, I know Kenny will be extremely happy to see his old man enter the arena once more. And it is definitely going to do a good shutdown potential. El Primo, as we know, with the suplex, can certainly really cause problems with a Hank and just deflate that bubble.
See that coming.
Shelly again. Yeah, I mean, it's an SK Gaming special, and I think that it could do a great amount. I would like to see OP on it. I just feel like he is the best Shelly player in this region.
Yeah, absolutely. Didn't really get the chance to get on it in the previous set, but we'll see this time if he has a bit of a better way. Not that the Shade was really doing bad against the Shelly in the last one anyway. He was kind of dominating that lane, but there was a few unbreakable walls on that map that he could just kind of traverse around. And it's not really the same for this one here. So SK Gaming needing this set to get back into it. If it gets away from them and it goes 2-0, it's going to be a very tough time to try and reverse sweep this. But, you know, it's only one set. SK definitely aren't out of it yet and came in as one of the heavy favourites.
Last year, SK Gaming only lost in monthly finals to Inner Circle, Team Heretics, and Humble. And they are all teams that have got a great deal more experience than CMM. So if they were to take a loss, it would be their worst performance, at least for 2 years, in my opinion. But now, in a much better spot. Now he's burning that bubble up, trying to get a connection eventually. But now all 3 members of CMM back in. Needs to gain something sort of that hypercharge potential as quickly as he possibly can. Very slow though on Kai, and it is going to be OP on that Shelly. That makes me feel much more confident.
I mean, this is the thing, like, both teams have got lane matchups that they desperately want. And it looks like SK are getting the ones that they want so far. Shade being forced over and over onto this Hank, and he's just rotating straight left. Shelly's going to go towards the Primo, which is exactly what they desire. It's been all Gale so far doing the defending, and he's really had no team.
I think Ramika needs to play a very strong game here and target the Hank, and for that reason I think OPE will probably try to shadow Naui as well and protect him in that way. Hello, oh, great smash there from OPE through the wall. See it coming as now Takai goes on the assault, but getting tapped up himself. Hypercharge for OPE, forcing this right-hand side, but a Gale twist that means that Yoshi cannot get to that ball. It's going to delay things so much and allow a potential respawn.
Well, they got the break now as well, but Poco just backing all the way up, just grabbing the ball, putting it behind this unbreakable here and waiting for their opportune moment. But so far, the Gale's just been shutting everything they want to do down. Another slow was on Remika there, but he does have a hypercharge, and they're going for the Gale this time. I think he just missed that bubble slightly, and Remika may be going to be able to eventually get this matchup, and that's... he's just giving it straight to the opposing team, and Ope's going to slot that one in. No kit needed to be used there, and a slight mishap where Remika saw an opening gives SK their goal.
Good capitalization from SK. The irony of having the Gale on the other side of the field, a strategy which SK are renowned for over the years, could come back to bite still if CMM can get another goal. Now the ball being pushed away as Ramika going on the aggressive, but there's 3 members of SK there, and it's going to only go one way for him.
Well, the jump's there again, just trying to get OP out the way, and now Dakai going in, should be able to pick up this kill, and we're going to need a bit of help from Kello to get this one through. The pass is... Oh, he found it past Yoshi! What a pass, and what a finish from CMM to get them back in it just before overtime.
One of the nicest goals I've seen for such a long time. Beautiful work from CMM, and now it's all guns blazing. A hypercharge there from Kello, trying to make some space for Ramika, who needs some super. He's got to respawn back in, but SK now have got a massive opportunity. They can make a little bit of space here. There's a wide open goal for OPE, and he doesn't hesitate to score.
I mean, they've just given them the ball again. Just put it in the pocket, play for a draw. I don't think you're winning that in overtime. Seems like slight mishaps are really costing them here. First time SK scored, Primo just, obviously you see an opportunity there, right? You go for it. I think you have to. But in that situation, he just passes the ball straight to Shelly and overjumps. It's a massive oversight and a big misplay. They're going to need to change things up. If they can get goals like the one they scored, they're winning.
It really was that shot, a stunning goal, wasn't it? But SK Gaming wasting no time in the first 10 seconds of play to eradicate 2 members of CMM and bring this ball forwards. Kai will have to try to advance, gain anything off the back of that radius that he will have as a defensive measure. Ramika coming in now, has got super also for this slow Naui. It's dangerous for CMM.
Remick just not getting a lot back from anything here. Shade's going to go really aggressive on Ope, find a couple of critical hits and get some good damage in. Now the jump coming forward, lands it onto Naui, but he's not going to get very far. Shut down by the Shelly next to him, and the Poco doing a great job of keeping his teammates in the mix. This might be a pass forward, and the goal here is it. Ooh, there was an opener, I thought, on the left, but he's just going to choose to wait this one out. They know they're in control and don't want to take any risks.
Well, it was a guaranteed goal if Naui had super passed it, but he didn't. It wasted a lot of time, and that might cost SK, but playing this slow as they are behind, I can understand maybe why they were like a bit reserved and a bit more cautious. But let's see now. Ramika just jumps in again to all 3 members of SK. A block 3 blow from the Gale might delay things slightly. Yoshi maybe with a little bit of a sidestep. That ball pushed to the side by CMM, and SK could have maybe been doing better to hold on to it in that position.
Well, Shade just going to pass the ball back up again, going to actually go out the map to try and avoid some stuff here, and the hypercharge coming forwards now. OP getting hit hard, but he'll get his super eventually and just deal with him quickly. Twister going to be placed on the ball on the right-hand side. I don't think they were really even going for it in that circumstance, but here's the hypercharge from Remika, evades the super of Naui, but he's just getting healed all day long. It's giving Remika a good cycle, but he's still getting nowhere.
Well, as long as Kello is in the mix, then he will have that Twister to protect the ball. He's now pushed much more to the left-hand side, though, as Dakai going on the aggressive. Now the ball being pushed to the left by Ramika, as SK Gaming are on the hunt. Hypercharge for Kello, great connection. A beautiful stun, a secondary stun as well. Ramika comes in with the ball, it's pushed clear by SK. And now it might slowly advance. OP on the defense, has to pull a hypercharge. A beautiful pass to Dakai. A CMM score with 15 seconds left of the clock.
Well, they've had nothing all game, and I'd argue SK had a really good chance to score. 10 seconds now to do just that. The ball goes in the corner. He needs to get a Twister on this. Can he find it? The knockback's there, and the Twister on it as well. That's going to stop all advances of SK Gaming, and CMM tie it up in Brawl Ball.
That is poetry in motion. CSK Gaming, all 3 members looking at the ball, protected by nothing less than a Gale Twister. The very strategy that made them famous in Brawl Ball. And it might be something of a little bit of a gracing period for CMM to maybe even steal here another set.
Definitely putting SK actually at risk now. Before they were feeling pretty good. This might be a walk if he didn't pass it to him there, but just drops a Twister here and finding himself in a bit of a compromised position. And now SK back in control of the ball. Dakai getting slowed again and will be dealt with, leaving just Primo on defense.
Ramika goes straight into all 3 members. OP's having a great time of that one. And it shouldn't even require much in terms of healing. Another hypercharge put to this right-hand side by OPE. This is a wide-open goal, but the Gale is so strong on defense. Ramika gets the ball as well now, pushes it to the side. And that's, again, valuable time for CMM.
Yeah, they are doing a good job of cycling out. I think Yoshi falls here, and the ball just placed back in the corner. Dakai's going to get a super against him from the Shelly. And the map is opening up. I think it gives Gale a bit more of a say, puts him in the game more, and they can't evade. But Remika with a hypercharge, going to have to make some big plays here, I fear.
Yeah, I think the ball's going to be coming forwards here as Dakai has picked it up. Ramika falls though. Kello then shortly after. It's now Dekai all alone on defense here. He keeps getting past the ball as well. He's gone back to the spawn side, staying on the line, and SK yet again can't find an opening.
I mean, their death cycle has been very solid from CMM. There's always some there on defense to stop the advance. And now they're going to try and mount an offense down this right-hand side. The hypercharge is there from the Shade, but Ope ready to fight that one out with a super of his own. But he can't take both of them. Nice shot there with the Gadget as well. He's still going forward, getting so much ground, and what a stun from Kello! They're walking over them, and that's going to be the goal, to put them one up, and they're burning the clock.
Yeah, wasting all the precious seconds of time is absolutely the way to play this, because there is 45 seconds left now for SK Gaming to get that response. Now he's trying to push himself forwards as OP flanks this left-hand side. There's a lot of utility, it must be said, for CMM, and Dekai uses it early. Ramika coming in yet again. A huge smash from OPE. Does take care of business, and now 3 members of SK Gaming bringing this ball forward. But again, Kello has got the Gadget, and he doesn't hesitate to place it down.
Yeah, that's going to stop the clock a little bit here. The Hyper is not there for Dekai. Now he gets it and doesn't pop it. Just going to wait for another one here. Rebecca going forwards, needs to stop them from getting the ball. Throws him away and goes back to the corner. Can Yoshi get it out? He can. The knockback's there, and Ope stunned. Can't get the ball yet, but has the Hyper. No super use just yet. And he will find the pass to Naui, who gets the goal and keeps SK alive in the dying seconds of Brawl Ball.
And SK Gaming have got a pretty decent comp for overtime, as we already saw, but Dekai knows for that reason he's got to go on the aggressive and pops the hypercharge. Kello's got super, pass to Ramika, and Ramika scores it! CMM! And 2 sets up against SK Gaming! We are now in very dangerous territory.
That is incredible. A great answer from SK Gaming to push that to overtime, but they had so much kit used in that one push that it just left CMM with so many hypercharges, so many supers, that they could just push straight through them in overtime. Incredible stuff, and I've got to give it to Kello. The plays were really made by him, the knockbacks, the stuns, and even towards the end there, managed to get the ball to Remika and force the knockback through.
Yeah, really impressive stuff from CMM. And, I mean, we are eating our words here on the desk.
Happily.
Happily so, but nonetheless, it's exactly what happened yesterday in East Asia. It just feels like the underdogs are really having a fantastic start to the 2026 season.
Yeah, I mean, you couldn't see Ope's face there, but his expressions just seemed so stressed, kind of hands on head there. And what a push-in that was in overtime as well. Not much of a reaction from them, to be honest with you. You thought they'd be trying to hype people up, but, I mean, kills